Earlier today, the Republican-led Senate released their rules for the impeachment trial of Donald J. Trump. Now, the impeachment trial is going on as we speak. It started earlier today at about 1 p.m. And the rules, well, let's just say the rules are stacked in favor of a certain someone, right? Now, those rules McConnell introduced the night before the trial allots each side a total of 24 hours. So it's spaced across 2 days to present their arguments. Now, there are some people who might think, oh, good. That means the senators that are right now off the campaign trail in Iowa would be able to get back to Iowa to finish campaigning. Senator Warren, Elizabeth Warren, Senator Bernie Sanders, and Senator Amy Klobuchar can immediately get back to the campaign trail. So that's one positive impact of this. However, there's also some negative impacts, as I said earlier. Now, according to the rules, the time must be confined to 2 working days and stipulates that none of the evidence collected as part of the House's impeachment inquiry will be automatically admitted. So, what evidence there is has to be voted in. So, any documentation has to be voted in by the Senate. Right now, of course, Republicans have a majority in the Senate. And so any documents would require Republican support, and we don't know. Documents and witnesses, by the way, would require having Republican support. So, okay, right. Now, obviously, since the impeachment trial arguments have started already at 1 p.m. Eastern, they will go until 1 a.m. Eastern the following day. If the members take any breaks, like lunch breaks, bathroom breaks, dinner breaks, Twitter breaks, or F-off breaks, whatever kind of break, right? Well, then the proceedings could well go early into the morning hours. You're looking maybe 2 a.m., 3 a.m., et cetera, right? Now, there's a purpose for that as well. If you make something very late night, people are not going to watch it. So now witnesses, like I said, will be allowed only if the Senate votes on them. So, and I'll get into detail about that. But basically, what you have is no or very few witnesses, no evidence, and a trial set for when no one will watch it. Sounds totally legit. No, of course it's not. But there's more details here. Under the resolution, House impeachment managers prosecuting the case against Trump would deliver arguments first, right? Setting up the defense to refute them afterwards. Now, that's interesting because after the defense it makes their case, the people that are prosecuting cannot come back and offer rebuttals to that. So basically, the defense is going to have the last word, which could likely be helpful to the president's case. So, interesting. Now, the House impeachment managers prosecuting the case would be able to, as I said, deliver their arguments first, with the challenge of compressing weeks of testimony and hundreds of pages of evidence into 24 hours over the course of 2 Senate days. Once the prosecution's time's up, Trump's defense team will take over. After both sides are presented, senators will then have an opportunity to ask questions in writing for a period of up to 16 hours. Once that concludes, the Senate will consider the question of whether it shall be in order to consider and debate under the impeachment rules any motion to subpoena witnesses or documents. The Senate would vote on that. Democrats, of course, need the support of 4 Senate Republicans to make it to that stage. We don't know if they will get that support. If witnesses and documents do end up being approved, the witnesses must first be deposed in secret, and the Senate shall decide after deposition which witnesses will be allowed to testify. Now, that testimony, again, will happen behind closed doors. Well, now, wait a minute. Republicans made a big, a big to-do about nothing, right? When it comes to transparency, when it comes to the Democrats. Oh, House impeachment. Not enough transparency. What's going on? Why are you interviewing people behind closed doors? Well, their own rules will have senators interviewing possible witnesses behind closed doors. What happened to the process? Look, it's pretty clear Mitch McConnell wants this over as soon as possible, right? Like 2 days, gone, right? With as few witnesses and as evidence as they can get away with. The game is rigged, folks. The outcome is inevitable. Still, social media decided to go after McConnell, and they nicknamed him Midnight Mitch, which is always fun. Tony Stark 2020 says, Midnight Mitch said he was going to deliver a rigged trial. He's rigging it to a farce, trying to extract personal political gain against a political opponent by holding back military aid from an ally country is flat out wrong. The GOP will lose on this issue. I actually don't think so. Yes, on the issue, what they did, 100%. Of course, you're not supposed to do that, right? But the Republicans will continue to cover for them, cover for Donald Trump, because basically it's a cult. It's a cult mentality, right? More. Rabbi Jill Zimmerman says, this is not okay. The American people deserve to hear witnesses, see documents, and to not have to hear the trial at midnight. Stephanie Kennedy says, we're looking at Midnight Mitch and the so-called world's greatest deliberative body, really embracing a cover-up that is there for all to see. Let's see. Miss Aderhold says, hey, Midnight Mitch, having a trial in the middle of the night and not allowing C-SPAN cameras to cover it is a massive middle finger to every American. You corrupt B-word. Let's see. Travis Bone says, well, Senate Majority Leader, you've got Moscow Mitch and Midnight Mitch to trend. Do you know how pathetic you sound? And look, with these rules, you seem scared. Because, look, there's no defense on this, right? And that's the problem. The Republicans know that this is indefensible. If it were a Democratic president that had done the exact same thing, Republicans would have no problem impeaching. In fact, Republicans have had no problem impeaching before when it came to a consensual sexual affair. So, and that's something that, look, most people didn't really care all that much about. And let's be honest, but Republicans says, oh, no, we care a lot about this. But in reality, what they did care about was trying to remove the sitting president. Now, the only reason they didn't try that with President Obama is first, look, and you could have gone after him for the drone strikes, right? Drone warfare, et cetera, right? Well, they decided not to, which is something I actually would, as a progressive, I actually would have supported that. Because when you escalate the drone wars in the Middle East, well, that's a big problem. When you have extrajudicial killings like Anwar al-Awlaki, right? That's a problem. Republicans, but they love that stuff. They absolutely love that stuff. And so they would never impeach a Democratic president over that. Well, get a blowjob in the Oval Office. Well, yeah, we're going to impeach you. Immediately. It's ridiculous, right? All right. So now, Kara says, I guess the dead of night is the only time Giuliani can move around without catching fire. That's awesome. I love it. By the way, live comments here. Sarchek says, Republicans want to hide the trial in plain sight. No, that's a good point. Damn good point. All right. Let's see. Lawrence Tribe said, these aren't rules for a real trial at all, much less a fair one. The rules for a rigged outcome, with Midnight Mitch making sure that as much of the so-called trial as possible takes place in the dark of night. Agreed. Midnight Mitch, SDC says, is a Trump sycophant and a danger to our democracy. There's zero chance for a fair trial. How does anyone abandon their honor, principle, and patriotism for someone like Trump? Only the feckless GOP knows the answer. And of course, their answer is, look, the answer is they're a cult, right? Trump supporters, the voters, are a cult. The Republican congressmen know this, and they know that their job literally depends on defending Donald Trump. And that's it. They defend Donald Trump, they defend their jobs. And so they are such cowards. Mitt Romney just came out and said, oh, no, I support these Senate rules. Yeah, no, not a problem. Well, what happened, Pierre Delecto? What happened to standing up to Donald Trump? What happened to a fair process? It's not at all a fair process. And we know that. We know that for a fact. A fact. All right. And finally, anyone but him, that's clever, says the general public of the United States of America should have a right to hear any and all evidence and see any and all documents to make an honest and fair decision regarding the continuance or the removal of our president. And look, that is the way things are supposed to work. There's supposed to be a fair process. Look, Democrats have bent over backwards to try to, prove to the Republicans that it's a fair process. But see, that's assuming Republicans are actually rational actors, right? And that they will actually are acting in good faith. The Republicans are not. They are not acting in good faith. And so Democrats, you got to get it through their head. These are bad faith actors that no matter what you do to appease them, it will not work. That's why you must fight them. Unfortunately, Democrats never got that memo. Because even in impeachment, they messed up. And so the result that I see is the Republican Party, the Senate Republicans, literally acquitting Donald Trump. And then quickly moving on from impeachment, of course, until, of course, the general election, when they will use it against the eventual Democratic nominee. The Republicans, they seem to have outplayed the Democrats politically. And that's a disaster when you think about it. Now, maybe one day this will backfire on the Republican Party, but I don't think it'll be today. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.